Welcome to the VIP MasterClass series. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode is dedicated to Tony. Before I get started, I want to thank everybody for being VIP members. I'm having a great time filming these videos and getting your questions and being able to explore in an intimate group setting all of your issues that you're having with piano and how we can improve on those. So thank you again for joining me today. This is a very touching email, by the way. This is from Tony. It says, "Hi Josh, my name's Tony Liu. I'm happy to be in your masterclass series. I'm a blind pianist. I learn music entirely by ear, and I'm studying in a college in Vermont, currently majoring in piano, math, and history." Amazing. I mean, here he has this handicap that, I guess you wouldn't even call it a handicap, but handicap to all of us who have our sight. And here he is learning all of this amazingly difficult music by ear, and he has 3 majors, so he can put all of us to shame here. All right, so he says, "Besides the repertoires my teachers have assigned me, I'm also learning some pieces by myself." Amazing. One of them is the Chromatic Fantasy and Fugue by Bach. Can you make a video and share some of your snapping ideas of the beginning passage in the fantasy section? And I'm guessing by snapping he just means like expressive or ideas that will bring out the expression. Since the musical phrases are generally long in this piece and I don't want to play too flat or too dramatic, which is a common issue with Bach. So if you can share some of your ideas on how to handle long phrases like this, maybe by using the first few phrases, but your choice on which specific ones you'd like to demonstrate on. Looking forward to seeing more of your videos, and let's keep in touch. Best, Tony. Thanks, Tony. You're a great example to all of us to keep working hard. That is amazing. Here is my best advice for Bach. I was teaching the C sharp minor fugue from book 1 to a little girl in Australia. She's amazing. Her name's Jennifer, winning a lot of competitions and things, 14 years old. And we got to that, and I said, "To be honest, Jennifer, I've never played this and I've never taught it, so this is going to be an experience for both of us." And it's a triple fugue to make things worse, which means you have 3 fugue subjects that keep repeating and doing all these things, but they're stacked on top of each other. Generally, fugues, in general, fugues have 1 subject, so it's a really hard thing. And then, to make matters even more difficult, the fugue subjects are very, very short and condensed, so it's hard to be expressive with them. So what I learned from teaching that lesson, and we did a few lessons on it, but especially the first lesson, is if you can identify your climaxes, then you know to grow to that climax. And you know probably after that climax it's either going to stay big and die, or it's immediately going to be soft, or something different. It's not just going to keep being big indefinitely, or just, be flat. Now, you can get too dramatic in your expression with Bach, but here is something I want to share with all of you VIPs, which I think is invaluable advice, because I've thought about this a long time and how to explain this to students, because I think it's a total cop-out. There was this book of an arrangement that one of my students was playing of Canon in D, very famous. And the editor, I won't name him, because I thought the advice was really lame. He said, "This is a Renaissance or Baroque piece." I can't even remember. Probably Renaissance, but Pachelbel, I can't remember his dates, but it's around that time period of Baroque music. He says, "This is a Baroque piece of music, and you are supposed to play it without too much rubato or expression," or something like that. It was like, you're not supposed to overly emote the piece. Now, having said that, any piece of music needs dramatic emotion or some complete hypocrisy, it's the exact opposite. It's a huge contradiction. What I have come to teach my students is, if you're playing harpsichord, I took an entire seminar about harpsichord and Baroque music during my doctorate, and the teacher there, Edward Parmentier, is one of the world authorities on Bach and on harpsichord music. He's probably top 5 best harpsichordists in the world. He's amazing, and he owns probably 10 or 15 harpsichords himself, and so he knows what he's talking about. And he said there are different ways of expressing things on harpsichord than on piano. For instance, on harpsichord, displacing. Now, I'm not an authority on harpsichord, so this is just coming from him, but it does sound good if you displace things, like you don't have to displace everything, but It sounds beautiful. It sounds horrible on the piano. There's different expressive devices to use when you're doing expression in Bach. So having said that, my revision to that horribly lame statement that I heard of saying you can't be too expressive, but you gotta be expressive, is don't use rubato in Bach. You can breathe a little at the ends of phrases, and certainly in the beginning of this fantasy. A fantasy is... Thank you so much for watching. I've listed 2 links in the description below. One of them is to download this full video that you've just watched the sample for. The other is to view the entire library of VIP MasterClass series videos. I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a great week. Good luck in your practice sessions.